Welcome back to the South End Zone. I am Chad. You see Tyler right there. And we are going to go through what I think is a really interesting list to kind of break down and go through a lot of stuff to debate about who belongs in, who doesn't belong in, who's ahead of who, whatnot. But The Athletic put together their top 25 players of the 21st century, which, of course, the 21st century is exactly 25 years young. And so it's a great time to look at the players, of the last 25 years. And so theoretically, we should average about one player per year, right? Um, so this one should be pretty easy, and you can see some faces and some jerseys there that will give you a little inkling as to who's. Well, they already spoiled it for you, Tyler, so
Oh,
you don't get to really do. Hopefully, you didn't read that, but anyway, it's a very underwhelming way to start a list
if,
like
if
this.
if my brother was sitting next to us, who is a
He'd
massive
probably be
Colts
really
fan,
mad. He's probably
he'd
gonna.
jump through
He
the
probably
screen
already
and
hates
fight
me.
you.
He probably already hates me. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just glad that Tyrann Mathieu is ahead of him.
Uh,
That's all that matters. Although I will say Tyrann Mathieu should be way higher on this list based on some of the other people you will see as we go through it. But I will say this: like the fact that he only really had the one season because he didn't start as a freshman. He had his big season as a sophomore, and then by his junior season, he had gotten suspended. There was a
yeah,
bunch of other stuff, a bunch of crazy stuff with like synthetic marijuana and whatever
yeah.
else.
Oh
And
God.
anyway, he ended up like doing almost like a um Maurice Claret, Johnny Manziel type of like semi-retirement way too
So
early, and then
here's
he
what
went
I'll
to the
say.
NFL.
Here's what I'll say about that is like the reason that one of the college football and NFL are different is you only get 3 to 4 years to show what you got. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of players are given their great or their flowers are known for maybe quite literally one season.
One season, right,
There's two
right,
to three guys that I bet are going to be on this list that are famous and well known for a singular amazing season.
right,
So
right. So
Brock
Brock
is on
Bowers
the
is not one of
list.
those guys because he had a pretty good career, but he's number 23 overall. And I gotta be honest, like I think he's good, but to
Really?
me, I think he's kind of this is just me. I know you're a Georgia fan. I love Brock Bowers. No offense there, but like he's a little one dimensional for me in terms of like if he's on here, why isn't somebody like Jamar Chase or like some of the like there's some receivers that put up way bigger numbers. They weren't a tight end, but like it
But
was
that's you just answered your own question.
yeah. But I'm just saying like there aren't even really any wide receivers on this list. There's like three wide receivers I think total on this list.
Well,
Um,
what I'm saying is like these numbers. That's kind of like sort of the point is that these are wide receiver numbers from a tight end. I'm
yeah,
not saying
yeah,
I was kind of shocked as well, to be honest with you, to see him on this list.
yeah.
However, um, like he is like was probably one of the best tight end prospects out of college maybe ever.
Oh no, for sure, for
So
sure.
like
No,
that's I mean
dude's a
I give
monster.
him his flowers. I think he's well obviously I think he's amazing, but like I see where you're coming from a little
Right.
bit.
All right, so Sean Taylor, RIP,
Uh
definitely belongs in this list. We're gonna kind of rifle through because I don't want to get too hung up
yeah.
on the rankings. Jaden Daniels, I think this is one of those things where like if he had more than 1 year, like 2023, he would be like top five on this list.
Give it
But
time.
the reality is he had 1 year where he was
Yeah.
amazing, and the rest of his career he was fairly like mediocre, middling. You wouldn't
Mhm.
even know him from another quarterback in 20 years. You'd just be like, who? Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Aaron Donald, monster.
Oh,
And
easy.
I think this might not be high enough, honestly.
I would agree with that.
And so we'll keep going. Julius Peppers, similar sort of thing. As great as he was in the NFL, I think he was more dominant by a lot at North Carolina. Like it was like you remember what they used to talk about with like Jadavian Clowney? Like
Hmm.
Julius Peppers was like was that, but I don't know that there was a game where I ever remember thinking like, oh, he kind of disappeared from that game.
Yeah.
There were some games where I was like, what happened to Jadavian? They double teamed him that well? Like really? Like Julius Peppers would just like find a way through
A
it.
DN with 5 interceptions, I think I just saw too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Roy Williams, the safety, not the receiver from Texas, but the safety from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Insane. This dude was a monster. And like brought the hat. Like he would have gotten so many fines and so many suspensions for like helmet to helmet, like targeting calls and everything else.
Oh,
Bro, he was like the king of targeting. There's video clips. I'm not playing them. Christian McCaffrey, like, and this is one of those ones where I'm like, okay, so like
what?
I mean, Christian McCaffrey at 17 is kind of crazy.
He's most people's top 10s, some people's top
That's what I'm
5s.
saying. Like he had 2,000 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving in 1 year, and he only had 13 combined touchdowns on
That's
offense. And he
crazy.
was still averaging like he was a punt and kick returner too. Had a
Right.
couple of tuds
Are
that
you
way.
kidding me?
It's wild.
Where is
But
he?
like
He's
I
like,
think it's probably the fact that he didn't score that many touchdowns.
well, which
But
is fair.
if you look at them and who they were and how they played, the it doesn't it's
He's
not
in a
that
lot of
crazy.
people's top 10s.
Yeah, for
Chase
sure.
Young, am I?
Chase Young, I like Chase Young. I thought he was really good, but I think he's another
Ugh,
one where like if you're gonna do this whole one season thing, he had one season. It was 2019.
yeah.
And that season wasn't enough for him to get past Clemson in the playoffs and maybe see if he could give LSU a run for their money. Marcus Mariota,
I think that's
similarly
fair.
had one really good season, had a couple of other solid seasons. Um, got like almost half of his yardage and just under half of his touchdowns in that one season in 2014. But that's fair. I don't have a
I
problem
think
with
this
it.
is a very good spot for him, if we're being honest.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that he took his team to the national championship,
Right.
whereas I think so the thing is, I think Jaden Daniels, it's another one of those things where I think Jaden Daniels is top 5, top 10 on this list if LSU has a good defense. And that's
Yeah.
crazy. And this is something I was actually thinking about. When you talk about like the type of season that he had, there are a lot of people who are saying, well, yeah, but that's because he had to do that because the defense was so bad. I'm like, bro, do you know how many times he just had to sit on the sidelines for the defense to give up 13 play possessions to the opposing
Yeah.
offense? If we had a good defense, because I go back to
It would have been worse, probably.
the Joe Burrow year, bro, we beat y'all like 51-7 or no, that was Texas A&M. We beat
Oh,
A&M
easy. We
fifty-one to
put up like
seven.
20, but
You'll
yes, it
put up
wasn't
10. I
pretty.
think y'all scored 10 on us.
Okay, maybe not 20.
In the Burrow year. Yeah. But the point is we were still hanging 50 on people, but we were
Right. Oh,
holding
I
them to a
know.
touchdown or maybe a touchdown and a field goal. And the point is when you have a defense that can turn them over real quick or force a
Right.
3 and out, you get the ball back. If you're potent on offense, you just light up the scoreboard and
Yeah,
run away from people.
volume. It's literally just
Yes.
like you get more
You get more
opportunity
volume.
to
You get more
do.
volume.
Yeah.
Now, yes, would he have been taken out
Also
late in
fair.
some of those games? Possibly. It might be not put up the numbers at the end of the games, maybe, but like I think it ends up being a wash. And the reason why I say I think he ends up in the top 5, top 10 in this list is the whole reason why I think Marcus Mariota is 15th and Jaden Daniels is 21st is they had very similar careers when you look at like so this 1070 10 796 105 and 14. Let's go back up to Jaden Daniels real quick. 12 7 49 89 and 20. Like way more yardage
Yeah,
and
it's
yes,
literally
fewer
about the outcome of the
touchdowns or
season.
interceptions, but 3307 and 34 tuds rushing.
Yeah,
Where was Mariota on that?
which I
At
think.
2237 and 29. So what I'm saying is if
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels is playing for a national championship,
yeah,
it's a whole different conversation and he becomes one of those
for
guys
sure.
who's at the top of that list. So that's
Yeah,
all I was saying there.
yeah, I think that's like you have to give Mariota that credit for taking
Right.
that team the where he did.
But it's not. But what I'm saying is, it's Mariota wasn't stopping people on defense,
For
and
sure.
Jaden Daniels wasn't letting people score on defense.
That's also
So in a
true.
way, it's not their fault. Now this one right here, I like. I got
Baker,
to give Baker
14.
Mayfield his flowers because I did not realize this, and maybe look, I'm a grown man. I got kids and like responsibilities and all this kind of stuff, and so I can't pay attention to every little nuance of
Big
everything.
12 defense. I know we were going with this.
I did not know. I did not realize that Baker Mayfield walked on at Texas Tech and then walked on at Oklahoma.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
not to be like, but yeah, that was like the whole thing. Like he was a Texas Tech walk on, then went to Oklahoma and walked on.
That's just like
Yeah,
wow.
dude.
I didn't realize he had walked on it at
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma too. I knew he
Yep.
walked on, but I thought like it was one of those like transferred, like didn't like the setup there and wanted to go play for Lincoln Riley, not like wanted to go beg Lincoln Riley to let him
Wait,
play.
where he also actually walked on. Oh, did he go to and from? Like, did he start at Oklahoma, then go to Texas Tech, then go back?
No, he
Okay.
started. So he won the starting job as a walk on freshman at Texas Tech in 2013.
Okay.
Then he transferred to Oklahoma, and then he also walked on there.
That's what I thought.
That's insane. All right, Devontae Smith. Um, love the dude. That 2020 season was crazy, but also I think we had to take this whole 2020 season in a huge grain of salt perspective.
I think with
I
records, yes, and
no
outcomes,
no so
yes.
so listen to me because a lot of people try to do this thing where they compare the 2020 Alabama team to the 2019 LSU team. And let me put this in perspective. How many people who were first round or second round, but even third round, like first 2 days of the draft picks, how many people who were first 3 round draft picks in the NFL sat out the 2019 season? Zero. How many of them sat out the 2020 season? A shit ton.
That's fair.
Derek Stingley sat out the 2020 season. Uh Jamar Chase sat out. Did he sat out? Did he sit out the Yes. I'm trying to think. Did Chase? I know Terrace Marshall sat out like half of it. But what I'm saying is like you have a lot of dudes, and I'm thinking more like DBs and other stuff. Like everything that happened in 2020, you have to like take it out and put it in this vacuum of like it's not the same as any other college football season ever. The
Yeah.
schedule was weird, but also you had a ton of people who were allowed to just take a mulligan and say like I'm gonna not play and I'm gonna just wait and get drafted,
Yeah.
and nobody could say anything
Mm-hmm.
because you had the free like I'm scared of COVID like trump card to play on people,
Right.
and so you want to sit out the whole season, go ahead, sit out.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of dudes who they didn't have to play against. That's all
I,
I'm
th-
saying.
I think that's fair, but I think like you can't just casually be that good. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
No, it's not to take away. I'm not saying he's not good.
okay,
Obviously, like that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
yeah,
saying is you can't compare
that's
2019
yeah,
to 2020
for
because
sure.
2019 is literally like everybody playing at their best, and 2020 is a whole bunch of people just like sat out
Yeah, that's fair.
and didn't play. It's just like a bowl game where like the starters for four stud starters for your opponents sit out, and
Yeah,
then you go win by 3 touchdowns. It doesn't mean the same as if you played them at full strength. That's all
that's
I'm
fair.
saying.
Little soft spot for me too because he now plays for the Eagles. But I
And
get what you're saying.
yeah, no, and look, and he's really good, and he was really good the year before
Mm-hmm.
when LSU beat him there. He was like the one piece that was keeping them in the game, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Late. Andrew Luck at Stanford, yeah,
And
I
actually,
like,
yeah.
yeah, he was actually a stud. Like he and
Oh, I miss Andrew
didn't
Luck.
have a whole lot, to like to help him out there either.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta
um,
love Andrew Luck. Who doesn't
yeah,
love Andrew Luck?
Larry Fitzgerald, like I don't know where to place him on here, but I just watching it with my own eyes, the catches that he was making, the plays that he was making. I don't even remember. Um, oh, there it is, Rod Rutherford. What? Yeah, like Larry Fitzgerald was a monster in college,
Yeah.
and so like I gotta say like this is at least fair to have him just outside the top 10. I would have not been disappointed at all if he had
W-
slipped into the top 10 though.
one of the bigger Heisman snubs of all time. You think?
Yeah,
Would you go
yeah,
that far?
I would think so. Like Jason White was good, but Jason White completely laid an egg in the Big 12 championship game, and then we just like ripped his head off. the next in the national championship game. So like, yeah, I think it was one of those things where like in today's college football, Larry Fitzgerald has a better chance of winning
Hmm.
it than there. So we're gonna go here. Terrell Suggs, Arizona State. I I can't I can't
Nope,
argue with
no
this.
arguments.
Real good. You know, just stud dude. So we've gotten to this point now, Tyler. And before I reveal who's number 9 on this list, I gotta ask you: is there anyone who you think has been left off of this list so far that you're like, man, why haven't I heard this name yet? And oh, maybe it's because they're in the top 10.
Because
And
they're in the top 10. I think
and
I mean, I could think of some guys who are probably in contention for the top 10.
yeah,
I'm
well, but I'm
thinking
saying like, all right, so is there anybody who you think like there's a chance that this guy's not even on this list, and that would be crazy? Because there's a couple. There's a couple. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up after it's over. But is there anyone who you think definitely should not be on this list and who might be the next name that I reveal to you?
I feel like you're walking me to an answer that I'm not picking up on. And
All
I think
right.
I'm gonna be okay.
We're just going to scroll into it because this dude does not belong on this list at all. I
Let
don't
me
even
see.
think. I, I think he probably is on the list of the top 25 players from this year.
Let me put out one argument.
Yep.
I think that's a bit. It could be 24 or 25 on those. If you're putting Brock Bowers, I'm just saying. I think relevance to what he did in season and everything. If we're talking,
Well, Brock Bowers is already on here. We
I'm
already
saying
saw
if,
him.
if if we're going to put Brock, I would honestly put Stetson on this list over Brock Bowers. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have bad news for you because there's somebody else who made this, and Stetson Bennett did not.
You should have known.
I'm telling you, like, I could make an argument that he's not top 25 this year.
Me too. He's not. Dog. We always have to. You and
He's
I
not
have to
he's not a
give.
top 25 receiver, and he's not a top
No.
25 DB.
So
And
you and
if
I
you
have to.
combine them together, he might be a top 25 overall player
So
from 2024. I don't know why he won the Heisman, but he does not belong on this list of the top
so
25 players, not on the top 25 players of the 25th or the 21st century, let alone in the top 10, in
Oh,
the
it wouldn't
top
matter.
9.
Never mind. I was literally about to ask if Charles Woodson was on this list then, and then you gave me this the caveat of it being from
Yeah,
2000 on.
it's
But
this era.
so okay, so we have to. Okay, so this is me and Chad's disclaimer. Whenever this gentleman comes up, what he did and the ability to be able to do it is nothing like we've ever seen other than literally one other person. So we do not discount the fact of being able to do both is
Right.
insane at
Yeah.
the Division 1 level in play well enough in both.
Mm-hmm.
However, he was not a statistical leader in a category for either. And the biggest snub of the century is not even the Heisman, is that he won the oh my god, the receiver award. What's the
Yeah, the
what's
Blitnikoff.
the
Yeah.
he won the Blitnikoff over a
That
guy who one of the players literally had the receiving triple crown this year, the
right.
San Jose State receiver, and
Yeah.
he wasn't even considered. Like
Yeah.
and there's no disrespect. Like what he's doing is amazing. He is one of the, I'll say he's probably one of the best athletes of the
Well,
25th,
okay, so
21st century.
let's put in context what you mean though when you say what he's doing is amazing. What he's doing is amazing to me means he is doing the equivalent of getting 500 carries in a season as a running back,
Yeah.
but averaging 2.8 yards per carry.
Mm.
That's the way I look at this. Is like, all right, cool, bro. You were 1,000 yard rusher, and it took you 475 carries to get there. Good
Yeah.
job, guy. Like the number of touches is not the thing that makes you good.
Mm-hmm.
It's what are you doing and against who are you doing it? Like piling up, padding your stats against North Dakota State and getting
Almost
washed
losing
by
to
that.
North Dakota
I
State.
can't remember the Arizona receiver who just lit
Oh,
him up.
Jordan Tyson.
No, it's the other one.
Oh,
Um, Funny
I
name I
don't.
can't pronounce. But anyway,
Or to show up to your bowl game and get waxed by BYU
yeah, like
anyway.
get completely smoked. Um, so I don't know. Look, I was not impressed. Anyway,
That's
uh,
crazy.
you can make an argument he deserved the
Insanity.
Heisman this year. Okay, that's
I
fine. Cool. You want to say like the playing 150 snaps a game or whatever, 115,
yeah.
111, whatever it is a
So
game is, but it was not like if you play it all the time that much, like you should have been like, I don't know, had the most catches, the most yards, or the most touchdowns receiving, or maybe had more than 36 tackles, maybe more than 4 picks. Like what are you doing that's
yeah,
that like, I don't know.
you shouldn't have any of the stats there. It should just say snaps.
There were better DBs and there were better receivers,
There were
and he won the Heisman.
in all statistical categories of both positions. There, he was like, I
Not
don't
in the
even
top
know
10,
if he
maybe.
was like, I don't even know defensively if he was on the top 10 in any stat. And
No, definitely not.
I think receivers, just because like you get volume if you're the number one receiver on the team. Like I think he
Mhm.
might have been like a top, but even so, like you're talking about literally robbing the Triple Crown winner for
Right,
receiving of the award for receiving.
right, exactly.
And
So
Ashton Genty almost breaking Barry Sanders' record
I
and
was
not
going to
winning the
say, and
Heisman is crazy.
let's not forget about Ashton Jeanty. So look at this. This is the thing. Travis Hunter played more than 700 snaps. Snaps is not a stat. That's like that's why I said
Tim
like
Tebow not
it.
in the
Yeah, I like, to me Tim Tebow number 8
top.
is almost as bad as Travis
That's
Hunter being on this list.
that's crazy.
Is one of the best college football players of all time, let alone the last
Oh,
25 years. I like this dude. Like
oh,
I remember like pissing down my leg every time we beat
same.
them. We beat them the year we won the national championship, but we lost to him the other couple of years
We
we
didn't
played
beat
them.
him. I used to. So funny enough, Tim Tebow is the reason why growing up I'm like be scared of the Georgia Florida game every year
Hmm, hmm.
for these reasons. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like
I mean, it was literally like what Philadelphia is doing with Jalen Hurts now, where
right.
like every play was either a chance for him to break off a run that was, like a big gainer, or he was actually like good enough of a quarterback. I mean, look at his passing yards.
Yeah.
Threw for almost 10,000 yards in his career, 88 touchdowns. He threw for 3,232 touchdowns while also rushing for 895 and 23 touchdowns. And he was like, if it was 3 yards or less to get a first down, I don't care. 4th and 3, I don't care. Tebow's getting the ball and he's running it up the middle and he's getting a first down.
Yeah.
He
And
was unstoppable.
dude, and yeah, like talking about almost putting up 3K rushing yards as a quarterback and almost 60 rushing, like you're talking 57
That's
rushing
insane.
touchdowns
Yeah,
as a
that's right.
sane.
He Okay. You want to talk about Travis Hunter? Tim Tebow put up quarterback and running back numbers.
Yes. Like,
That's on the same side
what
of
do
the
you
ball.
mean? Like,
Like, come on.
like Tim Tebow should be in every top
Wait,
five, and then you can argue.
right, right. Wait. So look at this. Vince Young's number 7. What? How's Vince Young number 7? Like, he should be top 5.
Oh
I
my
He
god.
might even be like top 2. And look, when you see who's 1 and
Tebow's over
2,
Young
it
for
makes
me.
sense.
Tebow's over Vince Young for me, in my
I,
opinion.
I don't know, man. Vince Young just like single-handedly shit all over one of the best college
That's
football
also
teams, one
fair.
of the most like that team that so like USC like split the fake national championship in 2023 when they didn't win, but they got, voted a national championship.
Mm,
Then they won the national championship the next year, blowing out Oklahoma and Josh Heupel, by the way.
yep.
And then the next year they go into like a knockdown, drag out, like one of the greatest games in the history of college football. And Vince Young is who beats them, and he was like literally unstoppable. Like it didn't matter what the down and distance was. He was either with his feet or with his arm. He was getting a first down and or a touchdown, and just like it was crazy.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, 199 yards
Yeah.
in the Rose
Okay, that
Bowl
is
the
insane.
first time, and then when he did the when he beat
Ugh.
USC,
I
it was
mean,
even worse.
passing for 3K and rushing for 1,000 in the same season is pretty nuts. I'll walk it back a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a little bit of something personal in there for me and Tim Tebow because he literally ruined my life for 4 years. Might be
Yeah.
for 3, however many years he played at Florida, but yeah. Ugh.
So
And obviously
I
the
would put both of
run
those guys ahead of Ed Reed. Like I love Ed Reed. Ed Reed's really good, but like I don't remember there being games where I'm just like, oh my god, if we would be winning this game if not for Ed Reed.
because the team he was on had so many guys. It's just like
That's
they
what I'm
all
just
were
saying.
so
Like
good.
Vince Young
To
was like
solo him out,
Vince Young was like, and Tim Tebow were both putting the team on their back and
yeah,
just winning national championships almost. I mean, granted, it was not by themselves. Clearly, they had tons of talent on both of those teams
right,
too. But those dudes had way more. Like Ed Reed's making like what 5 plays a game.
yeah.
These
And
dudes are making like 30.
I mean, and he's. I think. I mean, you got to give him some credit because he. I mean, he's. I think he gets a lot of bump here because he's on considerably one of the greatest college football teams of all time,
Yes. Okay, but listen to me. All right.
for sure.
44 tackle, his best season, 44 tackles, 9 INTs, 18 passes defended, a tackle for loss, 2 interception touchdowns. Okay, so if we take all of that together, that's like 60 plays, 70 plays.
Yeah,
Like if you take all of that together, okay, let's go up to Vince Young. Vince Young threw for 26 touchdowns, ran for 12 touchdowns, 1,000 yards and 3,000 yards. And then again, I will go to like in that national championship game. But yes, I now I'm with you on Tebow. Like now I'm looking at his stuff. It's like 32 touchdowns and 23. He almost scored more touchdowns than Reed touched the ball
right.
or the ball carrier. Like Ed Reed making a tackle on 3rd and 7 when they get 12 yards still counts as a stat that's on this list.
Right.
Tim Tebow he scored a touchdown on that
I'm
play.
telling you, I think that Tim Tebow is above Vince Young. I think that's,
I'm
in my
with you.
opinion, is
You've
that
convinced
Young.
me, but the numbers convinced me better.
Right. I think that, in my opinion, that Young is top 10, but Tebow's a guaranteed top 5. That's my
Yeah,
honest
with
opinion
you.
about the two of them.
All right, so Ed Reed, you don't belong here. You belong on the list for sure, but not that high. Lamar Jackson at Louisville. I I I love Lamar Jackson. I think he was really good. I think yes, he played on a Louisville squad that was undermanned overall for where they were playing and who they were having to play against and everything. But I just remember LSU played him in a bowl game and just completely shutting him down. And I don't remember Vince Young or Tim Tebow being shut down like that. And I think both of them belong ahead of Lamar Jackson. Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson is a way better pro than both of
for
those guys combined.
and that's the thing.
But
It's
that
like,
doesn't mean that he belongs higher on the
no,
college
for
football
sure.
list.
He is well, I mean, in that game against Clemson was unreal. Like that
Yeah.
game was, but once again, he's another guy where I'd say he's a top 10 but not a top 5 kind of guy.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
and Baker being out of the top 10 is also kind of crazy.
Yes.
Like if we're talking about all these
Wait,
quarterbacks that he
wait till
gets
you
thrown in
see,
with.
wait till you see the guys who aren't on this list. It's coming. All right, so Joe Burrow, number 4. I don't have a problem with this. He's another one of those guys who I think he had the best season in the history
Yeah,
of college football, but
exactly.
he also only had that season because his look at his career numbers. He had 18 touchdowns and 5 picks combined in his career, other than that one season.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna give him the same sort of latitude that I'll give to a Vince Young, a Tim Tebow, a Baker Mayfield, who did it over several seasons. Um, but what he did when he did it, and beating the people they beat, which is another part of it that just gets lost in this whole thing. Unless you beat 5 top 8 teams,
Yeah, the schedule you had was insane.
five top 8 teams that finished in the top 8, not 5 top 8 teams when they played them, and then by the end of the season they were 7 and 5 or something like that because they were overrated before the season started. These are 5 teams that finished in the top 8. Um, and then the next one, Ndamukong Suh, like back to this defensive thing. Like this is a guy though who you could definitely say like
That was
he
the team.
completely changed. He
I was gonna
disrupted
say,
everything. He was the guy. He was
I
like
personally don't tolerate
you had to
Sue
double and
slander.
triple team him so you didn't get
Right.
your quarterback killed.
I was gonna say, Chad, I don't tolerate Sue slander. I think he should have won the Heisman the year that he was
Mhm.
in for it. That's me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's dirty as hell,
for
but he
sure.
was really good. And you can't take that his talent away from him. I wish he wouldn't have like stepped on people's faces on purpose and
Yeah.
done a bunch of other dirty stuff, but he's a good dude. He's a good player. Reggie Bush at number 2. I wouldn't have
Oh
had him
well, then
here. He had one of the most insane, electrifying, like
yeah,
crazy seasons, and made a bunch of. But like a lot of his highlight stuff is like against Fresno State and against Cal, or you know what I mean. Like some of this stuff is like I'm like, all right, like your big moments are against like the SEC equivalent of like Mississippi State and Kentucky.
yeah.
So I'm
Well,
like,
people
I
will
don't
always.
know, man.
You're not gonna be able to talk anybody out of uh, ranking Reggie Bush like in their top 5 college football players of all time.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I just think in terms of like what they
For
were for
sure.
their teams, I think you could make the argument that Tebow and Vince Young perhaps belong at least like up in this area,
Well,
if not
then
maybe even ahead of him. And
then I know
Tebow,
who number
I would have Tebow ahead of him.
then I know who number 1 is if Reggie Bush is 2.
Yeah. Yeah, you know who number 1 is. And since we're speaking
Wait.
on single season guys
Yeah.
versus guys who had a full, long, lengthy career, but this dude had a season.
Wait.
Holy
Did we
crap.
not mention Johnny Manziel this entire time? Did I just like catch that?
Yeah, so
Okay, we'll talk
he's one
about
of
this
3.
first.
He's one of 3 guys who belong on this list instead of Travis Hunter.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. So
At
you're
least
talking.
there's at least 3 guys who belong on this list
Oh,
ahead of Travis
yeah.
Hunter.
I like how
And
they.
Johnny Manziel is one of them. The other ones are, in my opinion, Kyler Murray
Oh yeah.
and RG3.
Oh shit. Yeah. What the hell?
How is RG3 not on this list?
And okay, so I had to Google it just to make sure that I wasn't like getting my time frame off. You know, you talk about Lamar Jackson. You know, Michael Vick's not on this list either, but he played in
No,
'99 and
he played in the
2000.
90s. Yeah, he played in the
Okay,
90s.
I was
He
like, he
just missed it.
barely missed it. Like that's crazy. Kyler Murray,
There's some other dudes too. There's some other
yeah,
dudes like Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette, just the guys that I can remember, and like Saquon Barkley. Like, there's some
yeah,
dudes on
easy.
this list or off this list that I'm like, how do you have some of these other guys and not these guys? And to me, there's not enough running backs because like the Reggie Bush thing was like it was literally just them having I don't know, having enough other weapons that it made it to where he got to do what he did. And I think
That's
if you put Reggie Bush on this year's Boise State, I think Ashton Janty outperforms him.
dude. Yeah, like I'm just like I cannot believe that Johnny Manziel is not. That is insanity. And yeah, I love reading this too. Led Gene Shizik's Auburn team is an understatement to what Cam Newton
Yeah, no,
did for
listen,
that
bro.
team.
So let's give Cam Newton his flowers because I don't want to spend the whole time his name is up on the screen talking about
Oh,
Manziel, RG3, of all these
yeah.
other guys who got snubbed. But look, this team was literally Cam Newton and Nick Fairley.
Yeah, oh my
That was it. It was
screw
like
that
Nick
guy,
Fairley
by
up
the
the
way.
middle and Cam Newton. And that was it. It was like one dude to stop
Oh,
everything on defense
you
and
mean you
one
mean
dude to
to
like just put the offense on his
you
back.
mean to kill your quarterback and injure them beyond repair? Yeah, that Nick Fairley could screw that
Yes.
guy. But yes,
Yeah.
he was their defense.
I remember
Wow.
so when LSU played we played Oregon the next year in the first game in Dallas. And I went to game day and they were showing the highlights of like Oregon playing in the national championship. And it's like it was a big deal. Like us playing in that game is like, we're playing the defending, national runner up or whatever you want to call it. Defending. Are they really defending that? I don't know. But anyway, the team that finished that just played for a national championship the year before, right? So it's a big deal. Well, I'm standing there and it's college game day, and so they show this play where Nick Fairley just like blows up the backfield by himself.
Yep.
And I was just like, welcome to the SEC. And the guy next to me was like, y'all got Nick Fairley? I was like, well, we don't have Nick Fairley, but we're pretty good.
Yeah.
That was the 2011 LSU team that went undefeated up until a rematch with Alabama in the national championship. But we obliterated that Oregon team. We went on the road to Morgantown and blew them up. But like that that team with Nick Fairley and Cam Newton was.
Yeah, dude. Cam Newton,
I honestly can't name anybody else who
you
was on
can't.
that roster.
No, you can't. And Nick Fair, like Cam Newton, once again, I talked about how playing Tim Tebow every year because we were in the East, and then Auburn is our was our
Is your your cross division rival?
every year,
Yeah,
and
what
we
is
had to
it with that? They screw us over. It's like us and Florida have to play each other.
yeah
Um, you have to play Auburn. Alabama and Tennessee had to play each other,
yeah
and then there's these other schools that they're just like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna give you Vanderbilt. You get Kentucky. Y'all get Mississippi State. Y'all get Arkansas. Like, I want one of those. Like, can I have Kentucky? Can somebody else get Florida?
going going back to the list. There's two guys who I would argue they wouldn't be very highly ranked guys, but
Hmm.
I could say like in the context of what they were to college football, one
Hmm.
of them is Justin Blackman
Yeah.
and Michael Crabtree. Those
Oh
are
yeah,
like
for sure.
two
No,
guys
for
like in
sure.
the context
In
of
college,
like
yeah, like bro, Graham Harrell to Michael Crabtree was a thing of beauty, man. Those are the days.
wow, I cannot believe that they just said Johnny Manziel not even on the list. You put Travis Hunter on. You kidding
That's
me?
what I'm saying. Like
Are you kidding
it's
me?
insane. It's literally insane. But anyway, so yeah, that's great. Like Cam Newton, um, I think it makes sense for him to be number one. I think some of those other quarterbacks, Vince Young, Tim Tebow, could have been a little higher on this list,
Tim Tebow's
and
my top three.
Travis Hunter definitely does not deserve to be on this list.
Nope. Tim
I
Tebow's in my top
again, I
three.
bring it back. Like I think top 25 uh, in 2024 is debatable. Top 25 for the entire 21st century is just ridiculous, and whoever wrote this list needs to be slapped in the face for that, for leaving Johnny Manziel, RG3, Michael Crabtree, and Justin Blackman, and who was the other quarterback?
Oh,
Kyler
Kyler
Murray
Murray.
off of this list, and putting Travis Hunter on it. That's all we got to say. This is the South End Zone. Keep coming back. We'll have plenty more. If you have any disagreements with us or any other guys who we forgot that you think should have been on this list instead, any other arguments, complaints you have with the list, we are more than willing to listen to your complaints because we have our own. As you have heard, we welcome your comments and we look forward to hearing from you. For Tyler, I am Chad. This is the South End Zone. We are out. Peace, y'all.